Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about doing a personal reset as we head into fall and winter and the holidays. Join us as we talk about 25 little ways to reset yourself for fall, including fashion, decor, food, and more. Let's get started. Listeners, today we're talking about doing a personal reset as we head into fall and winter and the holidays. As a springboard for this discussion, we're turning to an article I read in Real Simple magazine called Same Year, New You. And I'm totally a sucker for any new beginning, so of course my curiosity was piqued. The subtitle is 25 Little Ways to Reset Yourself for Fall. I mean, this is just right up my alley. So Julie and Mindy, what did you think when I sent you this article?
Well, they mentioned, how in the fall, typically you're starting something new, like when you were in school or your kids were in school, and the thought of new textbooks, new pencils, new notebooks, all that was so exciting. And we don't have that anymore. So it's like there has to be something that we reset and start over with, So I'm like you. I like to think of fall as a new beginning.
Yes. I thought, oh, joy, like it's so simple. I know it's the title of the magazine, right? but I think that's what I love about it is they really do keep it like short, concise, easy to do, achievable. I'm like, I can do this. And I don't feel like I have to do all of them. So they were great options like across the board of your life. So you just pick and choose which ones that talk to you. So I love it. Simple, easy, doable. Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I'm interested to see which one spoke to you.
I know. Well, I'm not sure if we're going to get to all 25 ways, but let's get started talking about the ones that stood out to each of us. So, Mindy, do you want to start? What was the first one that grabbed your attention?
Oh, yes. The first one, you guys, I'm sure you're going to be just completely shocked that I was very excited about adding a few key pieces to your wardrobe.
That is so you.
Me too.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. And so the article mentions barrel leg jeans, ballet flats, and a crossbody bag. I came up with my own.
Okay.
So just so you know that the article mentioned that, I have not yet pulled the trigger on these barrel leg jeans, that whole style.
I couldn't even picture that.
I keep getting ads for it from Madewell. I'm like, no. I keep saying no. Like, pass me by. No. But okay, so here's the Mindy list. All right. Not that Mindy is any person of fashion, but since I live in the South, I was gonna say, first of all, with feet, that's a big deal. I'm gonna just do a darker color in my pedicure. Okay. Because we're gonna be wearing open-toed shoes for months.
Yes,
still.
You will. Yeah.
And so the colors of that, like I'm going from like a bright coral color to like a mauvey brown color, right? Doesn't that sound awesome?
That does sound good.
So I'm all about the mauvey brown. Browns are really big right now. White tennis shoes, if you want a closed-toed shoe. I feel like white tennis shoes take so many things like to another level. And it brings it into fall, but you're still having a lot of sunny, warm days. So just some like cute little white tennies. The piece that I'm most in love with is a white blazer, though I was able to find one, and you could probably find it on clearance. I found mine from J. Crew. I didn't spend J. Crew prices because they were clearancing it out. But for me, this is something I'm introducing right now into my fall wardrobe because it's kind of a linen blend. It's got gold buttons, which is really popular right now. And you can just add it with like a t-shirt and jeans, and you can wear, an open-toed shoe. You can put on those white tennies with it. Like you can do so much with it. Okay. And the last piece that I highly encourage is a belt. Classic brown belt or black belt, nothing gaudy, nothing big, but there is something about adding a belt to your wardrobe that just like takes it up a notch. And to me, it kind of says fall. Like you can still be in a t-shirt and jeans or pants. If you add a belt, it just elevates the whole thing. So I think belts are actually really big right now. Gold or silver, doesn't matter. So that's the Mindy list.
Yes. I like
it was more
that
than
list.
A few things. I'm sorry I could go all day.
Well, it's funny because I went out to lunch the other day with two of my daughters, and afterwards we said, let's go shopping. And so first we went to Nordstrom Rack, and usually My one daughter would be all about that. But as we were walking around, she's like, I'm just kind of overwhelmed in here. And I said, I am too, as I always am. And then, then we went right next door to TJ Maxx Home Goods. And she's like, I am still overwhelmed. I said, let's just go to J. Crew, which is also right across the parking lot, because they have, 5 pairs of jeans to choose from, 5 sweaters that might interest you. And so we went in there, and I hardly ever buy things for myself. I'm not a big clothes person, but because I had 2 of my daughters with me, I thought, okay, so I got a couple key pieces. I bought some corduroy pants. Lydia really urged me to buy corduroy pants.
Wow.
And so I got some, and then I got a new pair of jeans, and I got one of their sweaters on clearance, Mindy. And yes, I did look at the belts, but they did not have my size. So yes, I definitely felt like when I walked out of there, I had a few key pieces, and it fit right in line with this article.
I'm really proud of you. That's awesome, Marie. Okay.
That is a great store to do that in, because it's just everything's so simple in there, not overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the first thing I picked too, was finding a few key pieces for my closet. And the first thing I bought this year was a rain jacket, and I paid a lot of money for it. I got it from Lululemon, but I figured I was going to London, so I was going to get good use out of a rain jacket. And then it rains a lot in Nashville too. So I thought I could justify the price because it could really be an all-weather jacket until January for me.
Oh, wow. Is it lined, Julie? I'm just curious.
No.
Okay.
It's not. So I had sweaters on with that over it in London. It was perfect. And then it's funny that you mentioned Nordstrom Rack, because I went in there before my trip and I wanted black jeans. I'm not a black jean person, but I just thought that would be great for my trip, like a staple. And so I found Madewell black jeans at Nordstrom Rack. And I must have just gotten lucky, because I normally find that store super overwhelming. But they had a rounder that just said Madewell. So I just looked through there. And I love these jeans. And then it's funny that you mentioned white tennis shoes, because I jumped on the white tennis shoe bandwagon. In fact, I'm wearing them right now. And they're Converse, but they're the platform sole.
Yes.
So a little bit dressier than just a pair of old canvas Converse. And when I was in London, everybody had on white tennis shoes with dresses, with just about everything. So,
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that was the one that appealed to all of us then, was getting some new key pieces for our closet. All right, Julie, what was another one that stuck out to you?
Okay, this was probably the main one, and it may be the least exciting, but this is what this is what I've been focusing on lately, is toughening up my online security. A while back, I got a notice from AT&T, about a data breach, and it scared me to death, because it was like, your social security number has been found on the dark web and with passwords, and it would even show my kids' names and some of their email addresses, and I was just scared. So they offered a free 1-year monitoring, like through Life, kind of similar to like what you see LifeLock or whatever. So I thought, well, I might as well do it.
Yeah.
Well, then I get a second notice of a data breach, and they didn't offer any kind of service, but they just suggested that you put a freeze on your credit report. And so that really overwhelmed me. So I did a lot of research. And so I actually did that. You sign up you have to do it with all 3 credit bureaus, which are Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And each have apps. And you sign up, and then you can just freeze your credit, just the toggle of a little button, and unfreeze it. So you'd want to unfreeze it if you were going to get a new credit card, buy a car, buy a house.
Interesting.
But otherwise, you can keep it frozen, and you would get alerted if someone tried to access your credit report, like they're trying to get a new credit card in your name, or a loan in your name. So I thought, okay, I felt good about
really
that.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing it doesn't prevent any fraud on your existing cards. So, if people stole your credit card number, you still have to watch your account. So I have apps for my banking, and I just check those every day and make sure all the charges coming through are really mine, especially after London, because I was like, using my card out there a lot. And then I got a password manager. I use Bitwarden. So you just have to remember the one password, and then it stores your passwords in there. And it'll generate passwords for you. And then I got a VPN, which is that masks your IP address and it keeps your data safe, and it blocks ad tracking and stuff. So I'm not on public Wi-Fi that much, but my kids suggested it, so that's what I've done. So hopefully I don't know. I feel safer online.
Yeah, those are all really good tips.
Yeah, so that's what I've been researching and trying to get kind of tightened up.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea, Julie. And when I did read that one, I thought, I bet Julie's going to pick that one.
I know. I thought about Julie too.
It just scares me. I hate it.
Well, we all deal with it, and I think that's great advice too, because I didn't know some of that stuff you just said.
Yes.
Well, when I was in Lubbock, I told my son-in-law, because he's in IT and he does some security stuff, and I told him that I had frozen my credit, and he was like, "Oh," he goes, "Molly, that's something we need to do. Like I meant to do that. Like we need to look into that." So I felt really good that I'd already done something.
Wow, proactively.
Yeah, that before he had to tell me to do it. So.
I've never even knew you could do that. So.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the ones that appealed to me was it said, take a Ferris Bueller style day off. And kind of the description of this was planning a week off from work requires a lot of work. And it is true. Like to really go on vacation requires you to set up pet sitting and, hotels and flights and when you're going to be gone. But it said that there's good news that even a single day off can help reduce burnout and increase feelings of gratitude, possibly prevent a mental health crisis like depression or panic attacks. So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a downside to taking a personal day. I loved this permission to take a day off in the fall to kind of reset. And it says, what would you do with your one wild and precious personal day? Anything you want. Do some shopping, take a hike, go to a concert. And it's so funny that all three of those things require leaving the house. And what I wanted to do on my one wild personal day was not leave the house. So I did take a wild personal day. Steve was out of town on a weekend recently, which is unusual. Usually when he travels, it's during the week. And so I just felt like it was like this little time capsule of no one knows that Steve's out of town. I'm just home by myself. People assume you're busy with family stuff, but really I am at home, and I just did needlework and binge watched shows and got out my paints and ate whatever I wanted to and basically stayed in front of the couch most of the day. I only left the house to walk the dog. So anyways, that was my, in quotes, wild personal day, but it was very refreshing.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Are you? I feel like
I am. I am, because that's hard to do. You know, it takes a lot of self-control to actually do that.
I feel like that's my life every day. So
well, I think it was just that it's easy. It was easier maybe on a Saturday because I didn't have any of my normal weekday activities. So it really was a day where no one's expecting anything from you.
Right.
Yeah. It was kind of like a secret time.
Yes. I felt very secretive. Like no one knows that I have this secret day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to piggyback off that idea.
Okay.
Because this kind of goes hand in hand with that. I'm going to talk about the section of the article, politely protect your bandwidth. And it's really just knowing when to say no, kind of having the wisdom to be able to do that. And I have recently mentioned that my parents were staying with us. My grandfather is at home on hospice. We're still in that season. And it's very day to day. And so while that's not requiring a lot of me, like with my schedule, I need to protect my bandwidth. And I have found myself saying no to things recently and just having a lot more peace about it. Because I don't know what the days are going to hold, and every day is new, and we're just, in a season, like we're in a season of saying goodbye. And it's actually turned out to be a really sweet, blessed season. But I can't do anything else. And so the things that are in my schedule, I'm keeping.
Mm-hmm.
But I have said no to like 3 kind of big things that I'm really passionate about. I would have loved to have done. Maybe there's actually time on the calendar. Maybe it could have been okay, but like mentally, I just can't do it. And so just having the permission to be able to let my yes be yes right now, let my no be no. And it's just not for right now. Like maybe it's a yes in the future, but I just know it's a no for right now. And I've just had a lot of peace about that. But noticing it's happened, I've had to say no quite a bit.
Sure.
Yeah. That's good, Mindy. And you're right. That's the part about saying no is you're not saying no forever.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I also circled that one, and what I put next to it was just the word margin, because I just love that word so much. I mean, yes, you might be able to fit every single thing chronologically in the schedule, but what does that do to your emotional and mental health? And are you even able to enjoy the things that you have shoved in there? Like, I just like that, protecting your bandwidth and allowing some margin.
I agree with that. I didn't choose to talk about that one because I feel like I've said that the last several podcasts is everybody knows I'm saying no to everything.
Okay.
but I agree. But going back to the taking a Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I know this isn't what they were talking about, but I included my recent travel in that it was a time off, because when you just described your day off, Marie, I feel like that is my everyday. You know, it's just not a lot going on. So I planned my trip for months, and it was just a really great escape. Like I was pretty low, probably at my lowest before the trip, and on the trip. And she mentions this in the article, like that a day off can really increase your gratitude. And I did feel that. Like I felt so grateful that I had the opportunity to be there, the ability to be there, like health of myself and my mom, that I could leave, the time to be there, the money to be able to be there, the friends to be there with, like all of that just really increased my gratitude. And I was a little bit afraid of going because I was afraid of coming back, that I would be, because in the past, coming off of a highly anticipated trip is always a little bit of a letdown, but it has not been that way. It's almost like there's a before and an after for that trip. Like I feel like I kind of feel like a different, like I've turned a corner a little bit.
That's good.
And I don't know if this will last, but I'm just telling you how I feel right now. And I just kind of feel rejuvenated. And I think it showed me that I could still really enjoy life again that
Praise
week.
the Lord.
Because it was just all fun. It really was. And I didn't, everybody on the trip knew John really well. And so, we talked about him and talked about our past trips there. And, it wasn't sad, but it was, I don't know, something just felt different.
It was healing in a way.
Yeah, I think I needed that time away. And I kind of feared it just because I thought it would be too sad, but it wasn't.
Oh, that's great, Julie. I'm really glad to hear that.
Oh yeah. What a praise. Thank you for sharing that.
All right, Mindy, what's something else that stuck out with you?
All right. Something else that stuck out with me is to start prepping for summer vacation.
Oh,
I'm gonna add this in right here because I have had a little more margin because with my schedule. And part of that is with the beautiful weather outside. I've been sitting outside more because it's not so hot. And so just sitting out there. And the other day, I just happened to think, let me just check out some Airbnbs, let me check out even a different destination. And I can't actually say what I did, but Bryce and I are going to be doing a big reveal to our children.
Oh, how fun.
Probably either on his birthday or Thanksgiving, to let them know what our family vacation is going to be.
Okay.
And we've never done it kind of like that. Like, they don't know that I booked it. So if you're listening to this, Abby, just hold that thought. It brought Bryce and I so much joy to have that taken care of.
Oh, nice.
Like it actually, I didn't realize there's a little anxiety until those plans are made.
Sure.
Like, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? Things like that. Thankfully, we have a week that we always go. And so I knew the week. So at least I had that foundational information. But it's booked.
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
I was like, this is so exciting. And so now only Bryce and I know. So somehow that secrecy is fun for him and I. We're starting to look at like what we can do. It's a place we haven't been. And now we're excited because we're going to do a big reveal.
Oh, that'll be so fun.
And
You'll have to let us know how that goes.
Simple, but it's a lot of fun.
The when and the where is always the hardest part. So once you have that nailed, it's just pure fun afterwards.
That's right. That's right.
Great. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. I saw that planned summer vacation, and my brother is really good about that. Like last year on Christmas, we booked our trip to Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons with him because he came to Christmas dinner with like, he maybe had let us know a day or two beforehand, but on Christmas, he was actually like, okay, you got to get on these campsites. Like, this is the time. The national parks fill up. And so we booked things on Christmas, and that was actually nice because then, you know, when it came time for July, it was already set. But yeah, it's good if you can do it in the fall or winter and really just know that that's planned. All right. One of the other ones that I looked at was, this is so simple, and I'm a reader and I love to read, but I think sometimes I don't enjoy reading because I don't give myself permission to do this. And it said, bail on that book you're not feeling. So I don't know were we taught in grade school or something that it's a personal failure to not finish every book you start? Like some books are boring. Someone might have even recommended and loved it, but I'm not particularly feeling it. And so I do love that about using the electronic resources at the library. You know, if I download it to my Kindle, and I hate it, I can just hit return to library and download more. So, you know, I might have 5 or 6 books on there, and I don't know until I start them whether I'm actually going to like them. But I do love, you know, to remind myself that just because I start a book, even if I got 3 or 4 chapters in, I don't have to finish it if I'm not looking forward to it.
Well, I think it's what we've talked about before. We have this ingrained in us, like we're not quitters.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just need a good quit.
Yeah. And even if it says like Jenna's book club or Oprah's book club or Good Morning American book club, I might think to myself, well, there's got to be something good in here. Why did they recommend it? And sometimes I really just don't like the book.
This is one I chose too, Marie.
Oh, did really, Mindy? Okay.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, I kind of equate the quitting the book to like finishing all the food on your plate.
Oh, okay.
It has taken to adulthood to feel like it's okay to not finish the food on my plate. If I don't like it, don't eat it. Like It was ingrained in me. And I feel this way about the book. I have mentioned that I love World War II fiction novels based on historical fact. And so I have been reading those for months. And recently I was done.
You do get to a point of like saturation.
I'm like, I think I need something lighter. And I literally just downloaded, it's like a beach read. And it was kind of advertised that way. It's a free Kindle book. It has been so enjoyable. I'm laughing at it. It's just so silly and lighthearted. It's exactly what I needed. But because I had started another one, I had started another World War II. And I got like one chapter in and I thought, man, it's drudgery. I am not looking forward to picking up my Kindle at night. Like it's not relaxing. It's heavy. And it took though a couple days of that happening, that feeling before I recognized it. And I'm like, just don't read it. It was free.
Right. Yeah. Well, Julie, what's another one that stuck out to you?
The getting more protein at breakfast. I traveled with a friend this past week, so I didn't know her really well, so I got to know her better, and she has recently changed her whole diet because of some family health concerns. And so we talked a lot about that. She gave me a lot of podcasts to listen to and books to read and stuff, and I just was convicted that I need to change my diet.
Oh.
And then when it said more protein at breakfast, I thought, yeah, this is really hard when all you really want is toast for breakfast. That I'm supposed to be getting more protein. And 15 to 20 to 30 grams of protein. Like they say, it's better if you even it out throughout the day instead of waiting till all at dinner. And I thought, I don't know that I can do this because I don't like to cook. So I've been looking for other ways that I can get protein in the morning without cooking. So like this morning, I had Greek yogurt. I had made my own granola that was real heavy with nuts. And I did have a piece of this whole grain bread. And so I had 22 grams of protein for breakfast.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And didn't have to cook a thing. So it is doable. It's just, I don't know, for me, all of that is very overwhelming, but I'm just determined to take it in small steps. Like maybe I'm just going to work on breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I might eat who knows what for dinner, but I've just got to like work at it in small increments instead of saying I have to change my entire diet this week. Because that's usually the way I do things, all or none. And then I quit because you can't do all. Right. So I'm really just working on changing it in small increments and trying to get a grasp on what I think I believe about it. Because, like I've said, there's so many different opinions. And so.
Yeah, I like that. I really do. That's a good one. Mindy, I could see you being attracted to that one too, although I know you already eat a protein heavy first meal of the day.
I do. And I don't mind cooking eggs. And I just love eggs so much. And I sound ridiculous, but if I am not home to cook eggs, for my first meal, I'll have it for my last meal. But I love eggs with a little like shredded sharp cheddar cheese. And then I always pair that with like turkey sausage or turkey bacon or chicken apple sausage or, it's just like my favorite. It's become a favorite food of mine.
Well, I had 2 eggs for dinner that I had made my own naan bread. I spent yesterday cooking all this stuff from a book that I had from a restaurant I had eaten at in London. So I had 2 fried eggs on naan bread and it was amazing. Yeah. So it's not that I don't like eggs. I just don't enjoy the cooking in the morning. So
I know. So I will tell you just a quick little, healthy loaded piece of toast. If you, something Bryce will do when he needs a quick meal and protein is he'll toast a piece of like multigrain bread or whatever bread. And he loves crunchy peanut butter. So he'll slather it with crunchy peanut butter and then he'll drizzle it with honey. So I know there's
like
another.
That too.
Okay. So, and then you could add a banana on top. Like that's a meal.
Yeah. Well, they said as we age, when we actually need more protein as we age, because that's how women get frail. Like they just can't, they start to lose muscle when you don't have enough protein.
I think the next one that stuck out to me was swap out one little home decor item. And I feel like I am always thinking of one more little home decor item I could swap out.
I knew you were going to pick that one.
Me too. I love it.
And I will just do like the smallest things. We have our TV on kind of like a buffet in our bedroom. And so it's up high enough, but I don't know why this kind of struck me. Someone said that when you mount your TV, it's like having hotel TV. And that has really stuck with me. So I ordered a TV mount and I'm going to get my dad to mount my TV. It's probably not going to be any higher, but the fact that it is not on the little stands is going to give me the feeling of hotel TV. And like,
wow,
a mount is like $35. Like it's not super expensive, but that's a little swap that I feel like is going to make my home experience more enjoyable. So what did you guys think of when you read that? Because we all liked it.
Yeah, I definitely liked it. And one of the things they mentioned was swapping out your kitchen cabinet hardware. And I had to mention that today because I swapped mine out this summer. I had nickel and I switched to like a brushed brass. And I love it. Well, I put the old knobs and pulls on Facebook Marketplace. This has probably been 3 months ago. Well, I sold them today.
Oh, you did?
So my lesson here is don't give up, keep renewing those listings because eventually they sell.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that made a big difference in my kitchen. It made me happy and probably no one else that would walk in would even notice it, but I noticed it.
Right.
And then I just thought about for fall, like little things I do. I have this fringed throw and I put it across my table kind of on a diagonal. It doesn't even cover the whole table. And I just always love it when that comes out. It's kind of a white and has some gold and orange and brown in it. And I put a few felt pumpkins on the table and I change out my candles, from white to kind of a rust color. And change out a wreath on my door. I have a little jack-o'-lantern pillow I put on my swing bed outside. Like just not a lot, but just subtle things that say fall. I even change out my hand soaps like to more of a fall scent.
I thought of you with the hand soap, Julie. I love that. I love that so much. All right. Well, this is one I picked too. Just last week, honestly, this was probably my Ferris Bueller day off situation because I planned to play around in my own home while everyone was gone. And so since there are more people in my home, I got all excited. I knew nobody was coming home for lunch or anything like that. And I was like, I have all day to play. And so I've already mentioned the green velvet curtains that I got on Amazon, that I hung those up. And so that was kind of a nice thing. But I went and gathered just kind of my softer, bigger pillows and put those back onto the couches in the living room. So I swapped out pillows, things I already had. I had a Facebook Marketplace fall painting that reminds me of the East Tennessee mountains that I had gotten probably 10 years ago. Well, I had it in the basement and I just thought, I should bring that upstairs. So I did. And I just swapped out the painting, and then I paired it with a lamp that matched the frame on that fall painting. And it just like changed the whole look of the room, and it was so simple, stuff I already had. And then I got really crazy and I brought out my tall, skinny Christmas tree. And I thought, am I crazy? And I thought, well, if I am, I am. Like, it is what it is.
Right.
And, we've all talked about lights, like as it gets darker outside, adding in cozy lights. And so it's a skinny tree. I'm not decorating it. It's just green. And at night, it lights up.
Nice.
And so that's what everyone commented on too. And nobody called me crazy in my family when they saw it. They all walked in and they're like, oh, actually, that's kind of nice.
Oh.
And there were some other things I did as I played around that day that nobody noticed, and it doesn't matter because it meant so much to me to take time to just cozy up my house.
Oh, that's good.
And there's nothing more fun than shopping your house.
Yeah.
Not having to buy anything new, but it makes a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Another one that appealed to me was go to more concerts. And if Steve likes to go to concerts, and if ever he asks me if I want to go to one, always my first instinct is no. I don't know why, but then it'll be like, oh, well, my kids are going. Okay, well, I'll go if they're going, or these friends want to go. Okay, well, I'll go. But I don't know why I don't think of going to live music as something that I am dying to do. But when I do it, I enjoy it. So I've recently done a couple of live music things this month. And so one of them was Porch Fest here in West Haven. And they have this big concert, and it was a Journey cover band. And at first, when I thought about a Journey cover band, I thought, I don't even know if I really like Journey that much. And then I was trying to remember, like, what songs does Journey sing? I mean, I remembered them from high school, but I don't have them like on any of my playlists. But I thought, well, I like the people that are going, and Steve wants to go. So we went. My goodness, I knew almost every song they played. Like, they all came back to me. But if you would have said name even 5 Journey songs before I went, I would have been like, I don't think I can, maybe 3. It says in the article that live performances trigger a stronger emotional response in the brain than the song played from a device. And the experience of connection, either with the performers or fellow listeners, may have something to do with it. So it says, go see a local cover band, an orchestra, or Taylor Swift if you can afford the tickets. But basically, like, going to something live is really fun. And at first you might think, well, I don't even know if that's my favorite song, but something about hearing it performed, you like it.
Well, I think I'm more wowed by their talent live when you see the guitar player, the drummer, that like, these are all really talented people.
True.
And I don't know, I'm just more impressed.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that I wrote down as well, Marie, because I'm actually going to a concert with my 16-year-old to see one of his favorite artists on Sunday. And it was a big deal for me to decide to go because I'm going to lose sleep. Know how I feel about my sleep.
Right.
So it's in Atlanta, and the concert doesn't start till 8 p.m., but we're going to have a blast. And so my son, Nathaniel, and I are going to go see Steven Sanchez. It's at a smaller theater in the Battery. It's at the Coca-Cola Roxy Theater.
Okay.
And so I think it'll be a little more intimate, but also Nathan really likes this artist. He's not like a well-known artist. And so, but it was a gift for Nathan for reaching a very big goal that he had. And so it's a celebration and it's time with him. And I think I'm going to be okay.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You'll be great. Because I went to a concert recently. I thought it was the Zach Brown Band, and I agreed to go because my kids were going. And then I found out it was Zach Bryan before we left. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this. I don't know any of his songs. But I still had an awesome time because both my boys and Steve were there. I listened to some of the songs on the way. I don't think I've listened to them since, but I still had a great time at the concert.
Oh, fun.
All right, Julie, what was your next one that you saw?
Well, I also did think about planning next summer's vacation. Normally, like when I get back from a trip, I do not want to think about travel at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm done for a while. And usually on the flight home, John was like, "Hey, do you want to go here, here, here?" And I was like, "Nope, don't talk to me. Give me a month."
Mm-hmm.
But on the way home from this trip, as soon as I got home, I had gotten a text about, "Hey, we need to start planning our whatever." In January, a friend wants to do something for her birthday, and I thought, okay, I can at least start planning, and I did start thinking about. I've taken a mother-daughter trip in 2018. My daughter and I went to Santa Barbara, and we called it the first annual mother-daughter trip. Well, we've not taken one since because she had a baby, COVID, and then the rest of my life. And David went on this trip to London with me, so I started to feel bad, like I haven't gone anywhere with Andrew. So before I left for London, I told him that I wanted to take a trip with him, and I wanted him to start thinking about where he wanted to go. So that's something that we're starting to plan for next year.
So
he wants
fun, Julie.
he wants to go to New England, which I'm all about. So so it's kind of fun to. I like having something just always out there to look forward to, even if it's a long time away. Because for me, the planning I enjoy the planning part.
That's great, Julie. All right, lesson from this article is start planning a vacation.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, Mindy, did anything else stick out to you?
I was excited to see this in the article because this is something that I did stop doing years ago, both for myself and also with my children. So the article talks about stop ranting and raving, that you really think you're going to feel better. Like, offense happens, somebody offends you some way. And then that seems to be the thing that you feel like you should tell everybody, at night over dinner or whatever. Well, this was a transition we made as a family, but also that it's made a big difference to learn how to recover and let offenses go. And so I think just the practicalness of mentioning this small little snippet, it said, you think that like ranting will make you feel better, but it doesn't. You think maybe going for a run might make you feel better. And it said it actually doesn't.
Oh.
It doesn't help you relax. It doesn't help you calm down because you think about like you get all worked up about something, right? Well, if you're continually reminding yourself that you're worked up and then you tell somebody, like you just stay worked up. And so I think so much about being healthy is learning how to recover in so many different forms or fashions. When an offense happens, not feeling like you have to maybe tell the whole story, but maybe going for a walk, taking a deep breath, taking a minute. Don't immediately get on the phone and tell like how you've been offended or hurt, because it just continues those feelings. And so after you've taken a breath, after you've walked away, maybe gone for a walk, whatever, do some breathing, do some stretching. It mentions yoga, Pilates. Those are great ways, calming ways to relax. And then if you feel like you need to mention it, put it into one sentence. Yeah, like this hurt my feelings today. You know what I mean? Like being able to, you do feel like sometimes you have to speak about it, and tell someone important about it. But also maybe don't describe the whole thing. So I appreciated that it said, stop ranting and raving, but it really has given me joy to kind of like, you know what, that hurt, that bothered me. Let's move on.
That really intrigued me too, because I've mentioned before that my son went to Mayo Clinic for chronic pain 5 or 6 years ago. And that's exactly what they basically taught him and us to do, is in a non-biblical way, but retraining your mind, that your mind gets in these groove, like these neural pathways that are ruts and grooves, and you have to make a new pathway. And one of the big things was he could not talk about his pain. Because that's all, when he had pain every morning, I would say, how's your pain on a level of 1 to 10, blah, blah, blah. Everything was about his pain. And he was told to really never talk about it again. I was never to ask him about it. And this lines up with that, because when you just kind of rehash things over and over, it's just reinforcing that in your mind. And you get all worked up and you get in that fight or flight response, and you're not, and so part of his therapy was like just really simple things like deep breathing and learning how to be calm and relaxed. It sounded all like voodoo to me, but it really worked. And that's even like the gold standard treatment for depression and anxiety is these relaxation techniques and how to calm your nervous system. So ranting and raving would not be doing that.
Yeah, that was a good one. I did notice that one. Kind of goes along with it, because sometimes I rant and rave and then regret it later when I'm getting ready to host a party. Have you ever seen those reels where the mom's going around the house? Nobody helps me. I got to clean this. I got to do that. Pick up your stuff. We have people coming in a half hour. Okay. So anyways, one of the resets was be a calm, or it said a calmer, be a calmer party host. And we are headed right into the season where there will be company after company after company. And I really liked how it was just a reminder. I mean, we know these things. It says stress is the killer of joy. And it says to outsource the parts of entertainment that you find daunting. There are very few people that like to cook, like to decorate, like to talk, like to do the tablescape, like to do all the parts of every part of party planning. I mean, there is a lot of stuff that goes into party planning. And it said, do what you like best and try to outsource the rest. Like when someone says, what can I bring? If you hate to make dessert, then ask them to bring dessert. Or, if you hate to do certain aspects of the family Thanksgiving, and other people are offering to help, well, it's not a badge of shame to say, hey, would you bring the flowers for the table? I find it overwhelming to think about what's going to be in the center, or whatever. So I really liked that reminder that, do what you like and try to outsource the rest. And then also try to do as much as possible in advance. That's always so helpful if you can do part of the cooking in advance, or plan a meal that doesn't need to be finished up while guests are arriving, or just try to make it easier on yourself. And then they ended with take deep breaths, smile and enjoy, because no one's judging you on your performance. This is not a White House state dinner. And I think that's true. Like the only person judging us is usually us, because we had an expectation or an idea in our mind, and we judge whether we met that. But other people are not necessarily coming with preconceived ideas. They're just usually happy to be invited.
They're just glad to be there. Yeah. And just to add to that, just remember, you don't have to clean out your sock drawer before someone can come. Or, point. I start to get into things that don't really matter, that no one's going to see, but it's like, oh, I'll just feel better if this is done. But that's just not, it's not necessary. And it really does kill all the joy.
I know. I typically am just so happy somebody invited me to their house. Like people are like, oh, I'm just glad I'm not hosting. How can I help you since you're hosting?
Yes. Yes. So that's a good reminder. All right, Mindy, what was something else that stuck out to you?
Simplify your skincare routine. I learned about argan oil from reading our Aging with Style and Grace book. And I have just recently bought a new bottle of argan oil. And there is something so comforting about having it, because it is very simple. Feels good too. Like it is a light moisturizer. And there's not fragrances, like it's not involved. It's just easy. And so you can use it on your face, you can use it on your skin, but especially as the weather changes, I'm I'm feeling more dry and things like that, like I'm putting it on around my eyes, I'm putting it on my lips. I'm like, it's just so easy to use that little dropper. I get it off Amazon. I'm happy to share the link. And so I was just telling Abby about it too. I was like, I had run out a while ago. And so I just brought that back. So I use it at night. In the morning, I use my Tula moisturizer still, like, before I put on like my BB cream or CC cream. And so I use it at night, and I just feel like that routine and putting it on at night is just like helps me cozy up and be ready to kind of
nice
be in,
Yeah. All right, Julie, what was something else that you saw?
Well, I really only had one more, and it sounds super boring, but this is something I want to learn how to do, and this sounds so silly. I want to learn to reprogram my thermostat at home.
Oh. Why do they make that so difficult?
I know. In our old house, like we've always had a programmable thermostat. Did we ever program it? No. John just didn't care about that. I didn't care about that. And our old house was always cold or always hot. Like we had a big vaulted ceiling, and so we could never regulate it. So everyone that walked by the thermostat was constantly punching it up, down, up, down,
Okay.
But this house, I feel like I could leave it on the same temperature forever, and it just feels great. But they recommend that no higher than 70 in the winter, which I think that's what I keep it on. And I think that's what I keep it on in the summer. But they said to lower it by 7 to 8 degrees for at least 8 hours a day, which would make sense to do that at night. So I'd love to learn how to program it to where it drops automatically, say at 11 p.m., and then comes back up when I get up in the morning. So I need somebody to come teach me how to do that, because I've tried reading about it, and I just...
So you Googled your thermostat. They probably have a manual online, and you still couldn't do it?
Well, at the old house, I had done that, but I haven't tried this one. But yeah, it was just very complicated, because then there was days of the week and I never know if it's set to last, like when I bump it up or down, I don't know how to keep it there.
Yeah.
So
one thing, do you have someone that comes and looks at your air conditioning in the spring or whatever, your units?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're coming next week.
Oh, okay. So when the person came last fall, he looked at my thermostats, and they're on the older side. They are programmable, but they're pretty complicated. And he said, when I come in the fall, he goes, I could swap those out for Nest thermostats for you if you want. So, you may be able to get like a newer, easier to program thermostat that they could just put in for you next week. I bet it wouldn't take him more than 15 minutes. Like, I don't think they're very complicated to replace. And that
why would it be easier though?
Some of them you can program from your cell phone now. I think probably the buttons are easier. Like, I feel like this one, it's like, like you said, like press 2 times for the day. Like, it's just too many steps. Like, they've got to make them easier now. I know for a fact you could find one on Amazon that is probably billed as easy.
Yeah. Or I could at least get him to do it for me, or show, show me how.
Teach you how to use it or something.
So if he's coming next week, I would look into that.
Yeah, because now that I'm paying the bills and I notice what my electric bill is,
right,
I care more. I didn't used to really care.
Yeah.
Now I care. I'm like, wait a minute. It shouldn't cost this much.
I know. Yeah. All right. Well, this article was a good one. I enjoyed this 25 ways to reset for fall, and I found a lot of them very helpful. If you want to come and give us your reset tricks, you can find us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast, or you can email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. All right. Before we go, we want to do I'm a Fan. All right, Mindy, what are you a fan of this week?
I'm a fan of some things that I have been a fan of before. And so since I have stated all of these things in the past, I'm going to list 3, and then I'll share a link with one of them.
Okay.
So 3 things that I am still a fan of that I have brought back into my life recently that have brought me joy are my Glade Apple Cinnamon Candle.
Okay.
Perfect scent. My argan oil, which I've mentioned, and I will share the link, and the Timothy Keller podcast, which I am still loving. So that's what I'm a fan of.
All right.
Good.
All right, Julie, what are you a fan of this week?
All right. I'm a fan of a show, and I'm coming in after it's already over, so I'm watching it. But it has a season 2 that's just come out. So the show is called Magpie Murders. Have you watched it?
No, I've not.
No.
Okay, it's a masterpiece, PBS series, and it is set in London, so I loved it.
Okay.
And it's a mystery within a mystery, and it's by the author Anthony Horowitz, and he really gives some cool things after each episode. He talks about being a mystery writer and how he comes up with a plot and a twist and what makes a good novel. So it's really good. I think there's 6 episodes, and the main character is played by, let's see her name, Leslie Manville. And she, if you saw Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, she was the main character in that. So now season 2 came out, I think just September 15th, and it's called Moonflower Murders.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fun.
So, but you can find the Magpie Murders on Prime. You can go back and find those.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
It's very clever. Like it's really, really good. It holds your attention.
Oh, good. Good. This week, I'm a fan of decorating podcasts. And so one that I've enjoyed is called How to Decorate, and it's actually put out by Ballard Designs. And so they just interview different people on there. They might have one on entertaining. They might have one on certain design trends. They talk with different designers, so that can be kind of interesting. Another one that I've enjoyed is called Dear Alice, and that's about interior design. And so that one, I don't really know who these designers are, but they will just have titles like How to Display Family Photographs, Designer Rules, The Fall Refresh, Playing Up Your Strengths, What to Do with a Great Big Wall. Like just kind of go through and pick out anything that you think might sound good to you and listen to it while you clean your own house. And you never know what kind of idea you're going to get or what idea it might strike. So I will link both of those, Dear Alice and the How to Decorate, and might be interesting to someone else.
Yeah, that might be motivational. I appreciate that, Marie.
Yeah, yeah. All right, you guys, I enjoyed talking with you and look forward to talking with you next week.
Yes, this was fun.
It was.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, bye.
We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.